What's going on today, people? It's Young Base or TJG. Finally back with another video. I know it's been a long hiatus since I've recorded something and even uploaded something. I've recorded things but not posted them. I will explain all that at the end of this video. At the first part of this video, all I want to talk about is the deck I hit King Games with this season, which is Paleozoics. And then at the end, as I said, I'll talk about YouTube and things like that. So this season, I know it's kind of towards the end of the month. It's because I haven't been playing a whole lot, but I got to King of Games with this deck just the other day. It is a pretty fun deck since the last box came out, or not the last one, but the one before it, when we got Paleozoic Canadian, all the Paleozoics. I think they're a really cool archetype. I've always thought that they're super interesting, and I tried a lot of different decks, 8 in total, I think. And the videos that I'm going to show, the 5 replays, this one is the one I actually got the King Games with. These are the last two. I think Chain Reaction is the best skill for this because burn, the little bit of burn damage is better than the overall consistency because the deck overall has been really, really consistent. The other two versions I played were a restart version, which is going to be 2 of the other replays right here, which is pretty similar except I was running a Cosmic Cyclone and I just had restart. And then the other version I was playing was a balanced version. Oh, sorry, there goes the Wi-Fi. And this one I was running Chaos Hunter and I was running 3 Wetlands. I tried 2 Cosmic Cyclones at one point. I was running only Chaos Hunter. I was running 3 Wish Raiders. I was running 3 Amulets and 3 Wetlands. I had tons of different variation. I was running Memory Loss, which also, it's really important to know for playing Paleozoics, you can't run any counter traps in the deck because you can't chain a Paleozoic to a counter trap. I know that when a trap card is activated, but nothing can be chained to a counter trap because it negates the effect. So yeah, don't run Divine Wrath if you're gonna run something to try and get over a Sylvan or a other monster effect. Memory Loss is good, but it's not great by any means. Chaos Hunter is also one of the worst options you can run. I found that they do not help at all versus Amazonis. Because that's the only thing it's there for is for getting so that they don't banish you. It'd be a good tech card if you were running it in a side deck format, but overall, I don't think it's really worth it. I would always rather have Vision Hero Witch Raider because then you can just destroy their Amazonis Onslaught. It's really good for taking... this deck has the best matchup versus Masked Hero. It has a like 50-50 matchup versus Sylvans. Really depends on how you open versus how they open and whether or not you're playing a good player or a bad player. The worst matchups are versus Spellbooks, and well, Spellbooks are more of a toss-up anyway, but Spellbooks are pretty bad, and Amazonis is by far the worst matchup because your things are getting banished and there's no way to return them unless you're running the Paleozoic that unbanishes them, and it's really hard. The only way to really get over Amazonis with this deck is to use Wall Disruption, and I'll talk more about other things over time, but I do just want to hop into the replays. So the first one I have is versus Aliens. This is the only balanced replay I'm showing. So you have a pretty good matchup versus Aliens because the monster effects don't come into play. So like they're whatchamacallit, the big alien guy, alien, I don't remember his name, whatever, I haven't played Aliens in a long time. Their big alien, he can't put effects on you. Your back row can get popped and stuff, though. You're not getting any counters placed on you by Alien Warrior, but however, they can place them on you, and you still do have the attack drop issue, which is not very good. Overall, I think it's a pretty good matchup because in some of my decks I was also running Order to Smash. This one, I think it was this one, or maybe it was the restart version. I changed up some things over time, but at one point I was running Order to Smash, and that is a very I think it's in this one, yeah. That is a very helpful card versus decks like Yurgia. It's helpful versus decks like Aliens, so you can pop their back row. Alien Overlord, that's the one. Sorry, I have a little bit of trouble remembering. You know, I haven't really been playing Yu-Gi-Oh that much. I'm just playing a little bit here and there so I can just like keep up on events and stuff. But overall, I haven't really been playing too much. I've gotten quite a few games this last season, but these were all just relatively recently. I also just graduated college, so I've had a week and a half off from school, so that's when I've really been playing for this month. But Amulet Ambition, showing why it's the best part of this deck, dealing for 4,200, clearing out his entire back row using the Order to Smash, and just cleaning up that game. So Order to Smash is good. The only problem is if you draw it and you don't have anything on the board, it's just completely useless, because discarding it... Oh, Another thing I should talk about because of the actual deck list. If you're wondering why I'm running a Hollowed Life Barrier, it's that if you discard a Paleozoic with it, you get to instantly summon that Paleozoic, and your monsters are protected, or you can't lose that turn. Because your damage is 0. Your monsters can still get destroyed if they like get econ taken and then tributed, or they got econ taken and then smash into another Paleozoic, which I think happens in this game. It might be this one or it's in the next one. This is matchup versus Sylvans, by the way. So yeah, and after this I have one more restart match versus Crystal Beasts, which is a fun little matchup because of some interesting plays. Pikaia, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, probably Pikaia. This is such a fun card to use because it's basically Jar Greed, and you get to special summon a monster if you play it right, if you already have something in the grave. So this guy is lucky and he gets to pop the Kamashrimo. I really don't like Sylvans. I mean, I've expressed that on my Discord. I'm also much more I'm using my Discord a little bit more now. I wasn't using it so much when I first made it, so maybe I'll leave a link in the description for that if you want to come and talk to me on my Discord, because I'll talk to you about YouTube things at the end. But yeah, I think I've talked about this in my Discord, how much I hate Sylvans. I think they're really ruining the meta, and they need to be nerfed in some way. Because I mean, Grit was not a good skill, but now Sylvans are taking full advantage of that. It's like the Mind Scan Gladiator Beast, or not Mind Scan Gladiator Beast, Mind Scan Cyber Angels kind of thing. We have a deck that is at full power and has a really good time versus every other deck. And I mean, there are certainly checks to Sylvans. It's just like, here's the Hall of Life Bearer. See, my monster gets destroyed when it's on his side of the field, but not the one on my side of the field. So it is a little bit unfortunate. Another thing, this deck really struggled when I was first playing with it at the beginning of the month. I was playing with it at the beginning of the month. Rose Lover is the worst because you can use Hall of Life Barrier and not die because of the Rose Lover, but you can't use your Wall Disruptions, you can't use your Canadias, you can't use anything else in this deck that you might have. So I have to Wall of D here, which allows me to bring out another Pikaia. But he does have his Rose Lovered, whatchamacallit, the Guardioke. I always think it's called Guardiogre. And I do pop the Amulet of Ambition here, so that's a nice 2,000 to his face. He's got pretty much nothing going on here. One thing in the back, so I can't actually attack into anything because I still have 0 attack. That's the one thing with the Amulet of Ambition. If you don't have a monster to attack into and you've been like Wall of Disruption or something like that is happening, you're not going to be hitting for that much damage. Oh, or if you don't have Wetlands. So I just popped the Curse of Anubis here so I can bring out monster. I mean, his monster would have obviously been destroyed here. I knew it was an econ because I was paying attention to the cards he had, so I wanted to summon this one into defense position, and there's the pop. Wetlands is really good because people aren't running Cosmic Cyclone as much right now. It was a little bit more prevalent at the beginning of the month, I noticed, but it's kind of died out in popularity. It's still a fantastic card, and I still think it's a card everyone should have at least 2 of for future decks and everything, but it's not super around right now, which makes Paleozoics really good. And also, I know it's the end of the month. All the good players are already in King of Games, so it was probably a little bit easier for me to hit King of Games with this deck. But honestly, at like the beginning of the month, there was no way this deck was gonna do anything, because as I said, the only thing it has, or like the only meta deck it has a favorable matchup versus is Masked Heroes, and then everything else is pretty meh. I think that this is a deck, though, just the idea of it is going to be prevalent throughout time, because Masked Heroes a year from now aren't probably going to be used at all, whereas there's still a foundation for Paleozoics to be used in the future, because we have things like Xyz monsters coming in, Synchro monsters, where we're going to have more of a relevant use. Also, Cosmic Cyclone here was definitely a misplan on my part. I did not mean to click it. I do banish his Pegasus so he doesn't get to prop it, or if he had a whatchamacallit, if he had some way to special summon it from the graveyard, it does keep that away. But the 1,000 damage is not very good. Luckily, I do have the Canadia here, which is going to save me for the turn, unless he has an econ, and I just have to pray that he doesn't have one. This is where the deck is really nice, because you get to pop monsters out of the grave when your opponent doesn't know what to expect. A lot of people don't know the card text. Also here, like, he's using a trap card to try and nerf my monsters, which of course it is going to do because I can't play the Wetlands from my hand during the battle phase, but I do get to summon another one, and I do have the Canada here. I'm gonna obviously lose a monster, but I'm gonna bring another one just in case, and I'm gonna have the wetlands next turn. There's a lot of good synergy with the deck because I mean like Sylvans don't really play traps. Um, and spellbooks don't really play traps, but the cards that do play, or the decks that do play traps, and traps are a prevalent part of any meta. They're going to be back at some point. So Paleozoics do, as I've been saying, they are going to be able to stand the test of time, in my opinion. They are good cards. Like here, the guy's going to pop his trap, but I'm going to bring back my Canada. So it's a lot of cycling with the deck. Even if they kill your Vision Hero Witch Raider, even if they're doing things, you are going to have some sort of cycling mechanic, and you are going to be able to do things. Here comes this Transcendent Crystals again. Also, I really like this deck. It seems like a cool control deck. It just needs like a couple more pieces. Like rare value is basically your Pikaia. I would put Crystal Beasts and Paleozoics in a similar tier. If not, maybe Paleozoics one under this, maybe one above. I'm still not really sure. So I have the Hollow Life Barrier here. I get to drop one, special summon the same monster, and I get to destroy his. Mine's not destroyed because I activated a Hollow Life Barrier, and there's nothing really this guy can do from here. So he's not even going to enter the scoop phase, and I'm just going to kill him. Also, here's the other cool thing. You can't get Bacon Savored because the Paleozoics ignore monster effects. So how cool is that? Bacon Saver didn't even matter for that entire duel. That guy was saving it, and he didn't realize. So here we're getting into the chain reaction one. This is versus Archfiends, which is, I also meant to say, you have an amazing matchup versus Archfiends. As long as you don't open terribly, you're in a very good position. If you can open with a single Amulet of Ambition, because people don't really read cards, is what I'm coming to understand. So people don't understand that they can't destroy your Paleozoic monsters with monster effects, and as long as they don't pop your Amulet of Ambition, like, you're good. I've also got a Hard Life Barrier, so that's just amazing off the bat. Oh, also, the way I've come to realize with this deck, if you don't have two Paleozoics, but you do have a Pikaia, always keep it in hand so that you can discard it for a Hollow Life Barrier or something. Monster Gate is also something I haven't really seen in Archfiends, I guess because I haven't been playing that much, and I've never played an Archfiend deck, or I haven't played an Archfiend deck lately. I used to play a really bad one, but as I said, it was really bad. I'm sorry for the coughing. I got a little thing in my throat. People who don't read cards, doesn't know how Hard Life Barrier work. We've got this whale over here, probably with 3 of this Archfiend Emperor, but he can't even read the card text for a Hard Life Barrier or for Paleozoic Pikaia, as you'll see on the next turn when I'm going to absolutely dunk on this man. So yeah, he's got the Archfiend Emperor trying to pop, can't do it. Knows he can't attack into it, so they don't run protection. These kind of decks, he's probably got another Needlebug Nest there, and that's another 4,200 to the face. You saw the Pikaia get up to 7,200 attack. Look at this. This could basically be an OTK deck. You get something with a high level, 0 attack, and you're just swinging. So here, this is actually my rank up match. This was a crazy match, probably the craziest match I had of any of my games with Paleozoics. This was my King of Games rank up match. And I was freaking out the entire time because I see my Valentine. I'm like, great, this could mean 2 things. It's either a restart or a Roma strategy. I haven't seen anything else on the ladder. Maybe Harpies, but I was thinking, okay, it's probably a Roma strategy. I see it's a Roma strategy, so I realized, okay, that means it's either Sylvans or it's Hazy, but it actually turns out to be Amazonas. And this is by far the worst matchup. I think in the 10 or so games I played versus Amazonas when I was messing around in Legend, maybe it's a little bit more. I think I only won maybe 2 or 3 of the matches because this is such a difficult matchup to win. We're just letting the turns go here. He's drawing, I'm drawing. There's nothing to do. I'm freaking out because I don't want to misplay because this is my King's rank up. And this is the only time I've ever seen Zing Zenhu on the ladder. I was like, maybe I should play around it. I feel like this is the kind of thing that run it. Someone who's running, I didn't realize it was Amazonas until this point either. I was just freaking out, especially since he picked my 2 Wall of Disruptions, so I am able to get the Hall of Life Barrier so I can get a monster out, but he is going to pop Onslaught here. I'm not taking any damage this turn, which is fine, but there's not much I can do here. I think I misplayed with this one because I played the Pikaia when I really should have been playing something else probably. He turns to defense to avoid a Wall of Disruption, which was a good play on his part, so I do have to Wetlands into, I think I Canada here, yeah. I'm playing like top of my game right now because my whole idea is I need to get his I need to get his swordswoman face down so I can start attacking into his tiger, which he actually attacks into for me. So that was really nice of him. So he could take a little bit of damage, but he actually brings another swordswoman. So I'm just freaking out here. I'm down to 100 life points. He's got a swordswoman. That's not good for me at all. I have to play the wall of disruption here and pray he doesn't get rid of it somehow. He does flip out the swordswoman. I don't really know what's face down for this entire duel, I think. So I do get the chain reaction. The burn is just starting to pick up a little bit. He's at 23. I'm at 100. I have to play in defense because if he attacks into it, I'm going to lose. So he banishes it anyway. I've got the Canadian here. I just need to start popping things. So he has the baby tiger. Yeah, that's right. I do find it out. I can lose here if I don't flip him face down. I don't want to flip the other two face down because I don't want them to have attack. If they attack directly, it's becoming a whole thing. They're still going to pop my monsters. Things are just getting banished left and right. There's nothing really I can do right now, but I do draw the Halled Life Barrier, so I am going to not take any damage. However, this is where he messes up because I have to take advantage right here. I mess up too, though, because I accidentally summoned it in attack position. Now, I don't know if you guys know how this works, but if you have Halled Life Barrier and you get attacked with an Amazon swordswoman, you still take the damage. So he summons here. I don't take any damage. However, this is where it's really important. I have the Canadian. I have to flip him into defense position. He only has 100 life points left because he did this in the end phase. I literally have to just play my Pekaya and draw on the next turn in the draw phase. There was a lot of little things right there, but I end up winning and getting king of games because of the chain reaction burn damage. And it was such a long game. We were both down on the timer the entire game. It was crazy. He was over predicting. I was over predicting him to over predict, and yeah. So that was my King of Games rank up match, and it was crazy. Paleozoics are a nutty deck. They have a terrible time on the ladder right now, but as I've said before, they're going to be better in the future. They're a deck that will have influence over time. I tried to run them with a bunch of other things too that I don't even want to get really into. I spent like all my gems that I've been saving trying to get my third Canadian, and I have to say, getting 3 Canadian was so worth it because I'm not going to spend any money trying to get hallucigenia, however you pronounce it. Yeah, 3 Canadian are going to be perfect in the future. I highly recommend you get 3 because they're incredible. I also highly recommend getting 3 Witch Raiders. Honestly, the box that they came in, I initially thought it wasn't very good. It is actually really good, and I would really recommend getting it. I know it's a little ways out. You only need 2 Halled Life Barrier, but you could run 3. I was running 3, and it was fine. Curse of Anubis is really good. You can only run 1 Morella if you have another Hallucigenia, or if you want to run that one that brings back a banished card. I wouldn't run the one that gives you 500 attack and defense. But yeah, that's what I gotta say about Paleozoics. They're not a good deck, but they're my deck. They're one I've been really enjoying. So now I want to get into, for everyone who, I'm probably just going to link this on a couple Discords that I'm in right now. So if you just want to hear about Paleozoics, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. But now I'm going to talk about my YouTube channel a little bit. So as I'm sure many of my hardcore fans know, I was a little bit surprised when I stopped recording and my subscriber number didn't decrease. It stayed around the same. I still had some people talking to Discord. I was still talking, and I explained on my Discord what has been happening with me and why I haven't been posting. I have been really busy. It was a really challenging last semester for me in school, and I was freaking out with graduation. Another big thing I was freaking out was I didn't know if I was going to get a job after school. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was terribly confused, but things are better now. I do have a job, and it is quite a number of hours during the week. I'm not really sure what my schedule is yet. My first day of work is coming up, and it's coming around the end of the month. So I'm not going to really be uploading anything else in that meantime because I don't really have anything else to upload. There's nothing else really going on right now. If some things were happening in the meantime, I would. But honestly, just uploading YouTube videos, it's been a long time since I've done it, and it gets a little bit taxing, I think. This is not the end of my channel. I know for a fact, I've said this is the end of my channel a couple times before, back when I was only uploading Pokemon, back when I was doing more playthroughs, back when I had a lot more free time. I was saying this would be my last upload, but I kept coming back. So I don't think I'm going to quit YouTube. It's just I'll be having very rare, sporadic videos, and I don't even know if they're going to be on Yu-Gi-Oh anymore after this. I might do Pokemon things. I'm probably going to do some YouTube or some Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Who knows what I might do. This channel has always been a strange thing for me, and I just want to say thank you for the people who didn't hit unsubscribe when I didn't upload for a little while. I hope you all enjoy this video also. I'd hope to see some positive feedback because I know Paleozoics are not really a popular deck by any means. They're not even a good deck really right now by any means. I also told myself when I first started playing Duel Links that once I hit King of Games 10 times, I was going to stop playing. And this was my 10th. This was number 10. That is a big reason why I wanted to hit King of Games this season. And I think it was everything I wanted from it. So I might be taking a bit of hiatus from here. I've got all the cards really that I want. There's new ones coming out in events, but they always just suck. I really just am waiting for the Jinzo era to come, and then once we get Synchros and XZs, those are things I never got to play with when I was actually playing the card game in real life when I was a kid. I kind of stopped right at the end of the GX era. I didn't get really back into it until maybe midway through XZs, but then I was never like super into it again. Yeah, anyway. So once they come to Duel Links, if they ever come to Duel Links, because I don't know what Konami is going to do, I think then I'll start uploading more. It could be like even a year from now. I don't know what's happening with this game. I'm not really sure what they want to do because as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be directly honest. I think Konami is a bunch of money hungry, greedy little, yeah, they're just, they're not very good on their player base. They really don't respect us. They have not issued, like, you remember how fast they nerfed Bamboo, and yet Sylvans have been running around causing devastation, and they're not doing anything about it. The World Championships are coming up. I'm definitely going to watch those because I think they're interesting, or at least see the replays. But I have the feeling that they're going to be fucking terrible. I think that we're going to have another Toons incident, and we're going to have just decks that blow everyone else out of the water. It's either going to be Spellbooks doing some other crazy stuff. I don't know what meta decks are going to shift around back by then, but maybe we'll have, I don't know, Cyber Angels unnerfed, and they'll be running around like crazy. Maybe we'll have Sylvans at full power still, and people are going to be running around on completely luck-based things. Maybe they'll make the format better for World Championships. So I don't know. I hope to see some famous YouTubers in there. DK is an idiot, so I hope that he isn't there. But maybe Guns will be there, and that'd be cool. I would never be there because I don't care enough about this game, obviously. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about this. I think Konami is making this game horrible. I think that they're not listening to players. I think they only care about the whales, as people have said before from interviews with them. I know this is kind of a rant at the end here, but this is not a game that I want to come back to at this time. It's like, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I like it, of course. I don't really know the mechanics for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't really know the strats for it. I'm really good at Duel Links, which I think is because these are the rules I played with as a kid, and I already understand them coming into it, and I don't have the time to learn the new rules. So I wouldn't play like on any other website or server or any other game or whatever, because I've invested time and money into Duel Links. Not that much money, just like a little bit. But also I had a YouTube channel on here all about Duel Links, and with a whole bunch of actually popular videos, which is kind of crazy. I know this is just like a rant, and I'm never going to edit this, but whatever. If you've been on my channel more than once before, you know I go on these crazy long rants and tangents just because, like, whatever. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I think Konami's really stupid. I think a lot of the community has to work a little harder to make it to make our voices heard. I think we need shifts and changes, but I don't think Konami's going to do them yet because they just only want to release things in boxes that are going to change the game. They don't want to give us things that are going to progress the game along a little bit further. So once the game starts to improve, I'll probably upload more, but until then, don't really expect anything from me. Come to my Discord. I'll be talking on there and stuff. I don't even know if I'm going to hit King Games next season, even though it's the easiest thing ever. Not with this deck though, not with Paleozoics, but with an actually decent deck. It's not that hard. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Oh, also, I probably shouldn't say this on here, but if you want to buy my Duel Links account, message me in some way, shape, or form. Okay, yeah, so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching so much. This is the Jewish Giraffe signing out.